how are you going to take the realities of a situation, whether you like them or not, and not cry about them, but what are you going to do to actually find that silver lining to turn it into opportunity? And it was just a very dark moment in my time. I ended up dropping out of school, like out of university. It was a very, very dark moment in my time. And I share this because I don't want to project to any of your listeners that everything goes straight up. We all have our demons
Yeah.
and hell that we go through. The money doesn't matter. The experience of working with a very high powered team and learning is what set me up. It took me taking another mortgage on my house, knowing that my wife and I won't have a roof over our head, and quitting my day job to take the company where it went.
All right, welcome back to the Quest for Success podcast, and thank you so much for tuning in once again. Today, we're really looking forward to our episode because we're joined by Sheetal Jaitly.
Yeah, Sheetal and I studied again at Harvard Business School, and so we missed last year's, but we're really looking forward to catching up again after 1 year. And Sheetal, very much looking forward to talk to you.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
So, Sheetal, this conversation is all about success, right? The quest for success. And so, before we really dig into your story, we need to understand something pretty fundamental, which is, what does success mean to you?
Great question. I would have answered very differently, I think. And I think most guests may say the same thing, but I would have answered very differently in my younger age. But I think success for me is definitely rooted in three main fundamentals. And those fundamentals are, health, family, and emotional like well-being. And I think like peace almost. And I think those are three things that drive me every day. Why I work so hard, why I do the hard things I do, is to make sure those three aspects of my life are there, which is very different from before, where I probably would have said, "Oh, it's monetary, it's job satisfaction, it's all this other stuff." No, the reason I work so hard and do what I do is really for, hey, how could I be healthy? How could I be there for my family? And how could I have emotional, spiritual type peace?
And I suppose to give people a little bit of context about who you are,
Sure.
you started TribalScale, which is like a large software company. But I want to hear from you. What is TribalScale, and kind of what are you working on now?
Yeah, so TribalScale, what we do is we build five-star digital products. We are a software building team of designers, product strategists, and product managers, engineers, and QA all under one roof. We're not the army. We're not like, hey, I got 10,000 employees and we're going to do this big implementation for you. That is not us. We are SEAL Team 6. We really come in with a small team and we execute on building five-star digital applications. My clients over the years have been Disney, the NBA, Carnival Cruise Lines, Emirates Airlines, CBS Sports, ABC News. The list goes on and on. But we really build the apps that sit on the first or second screen of your device. Everything we do, we've built products that have touched over 1 billion people, individual people.
Wow.
So, super, super high end, right, digital experiences. We do that. And we also have a part of the business that does transformation. So a lot of my clients, I'll give you like Emirates Airlines here in Dubai, came to me and was like, "Hey, our app is not that good. It was actually 2.7 stars in the App Store. We could have Jennifer Aniston come out of the shower in a commercial, but we can't give our clients that premium experience that only Emirates Airlines, like when you fly Emirates, it's such a premium experience. Why are they having a horrible digital experience?" Well, we came in and we brought that app to be 4.7 stars within 3 months. And we did that
Wow.
with a team of 8, and they used to have a team of 98 working on that mobile app. And so it's not about the numbers, it's about how you execute. But what happens is we have a transformation business. Once we start doing that with the client, they go, "Well, how come we don't work this way? How could you transform us to be like TribalScale?" And so we do a transformation line. And then I also have a third line of the business, which is a venture studio, where I invest in early stage startups, most usually with founders who just have a deck. And so super early stage investing, but I also create digital companies from the ground up, and been more focused in the last 5 years on health tech, and have created three health tech companies in the past 5 years. The first one is Netromark AI, which is AI for the pharmaceutical industry, doing phase 3 clinical trials. The second company is Script Runner, which is a SaaS platform built for pharmacists. It handles all the logistics and payments. It has fintech in it, all for pharmacists. That company spun off 2 years ago and is doing very well on its own as well. And my newest creation is Scriber, which is a medical AI transcriptionist, and it helps doctors not only do all their admin work in their EHR, but also handles the billing for them. And so every doctor doesn't like using their EMR EHR system, and we just listen in the background and populate everything for them so they could actually do what's right and do better patient care.
Oh, that's amazing, Sheetal.
So there's a
Seems like
there's a lot happening.
a lot of things. So how do you like? I mean, as an entrepreneur, right? Like you see these opportunities, or opportunities come to you. How that works?
Both, I think. I like what Naval Ravikant said. It's like, hey, you can go be the ultimate networker, and I love networking. I'm not introverted.
We know that very
As
well.
Jam, as you know, I love networking. But your great work builds your network, and that's really what builds your quality network. So, sure, I find opportunities as I'm networking. Sure, my research team goes and looks out for opportunities we want to go into and where we know we could add a ton of value. But a lot of times, the right opportunities come find us because they know what we're made of and they know what we do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to ask a massive favor of you guys. At the moment, we're putting a big priority on growing our YouTube channel. So if you aren't already subscribed to us there, if you could head over to YouTube, type in the Quest for Success podcast, or just click the link down in the show notes below, head over to our channel and subscribe to us there. You'll get access to all of our video interviews that we do with our guests. And it will do us a massive favor because it will help us grow the show, which means we can get on bigger and better guests for you guys. And with that, back to the episode. And so
Yeah.
I'm hearing a bit of an accent there, which doesn't sound like it's from Dubai. And so I want to get a bit of an insight into kind of your early life, and understand, what Sheetal was like as a young boy and kind of how you got to where you are now.
Sure. I was weird enough. I say I'm not introverted, but I was a shy kid. I was the son of two immigrant parents from India, born and raised in Toronto, Canada. Was left with a lot of freedom. I'm the oldest of three, and with parents working two jobs each at times and stuff, really had to go figure a lot of stuff out on my own. I think. Nothing was actually given. Everything was like had to be created for. And I think, some of those things as we experience as young people shape you for who you are. I think being the oldest is why I'm a CEO and founder now. I'm always the one to be like, hey, little sisters, don't worry. I'll figure it out. We got this. Like, don't worry about it. I feel like a job as a CEO is a lot of times looking at your team going, don't worry, we're gonna figure this out. Let's figure out the right path forward. And a lot of that stemmed through. I was always a decent student in school, but it wasn't because of effort. It just naturally things would come to me. As I got older, got more into sports, got more into out of my eggshell, let's say. I wasn't the one doing homework every night, like on time. It was actually my mom coming after me, going, "Go sit down at your desk, get your homework done," and do that stuff. Yeah, it was a very cool upbringing. Surrounded by a lot of family and friends. I come from my parents have many brothers and sisters. Um, Mostly in Toronto also, and so I was raised by almost a community. It was our grandparents raised us, my aunts raised us. I've been beaten by all of them. Yes, I got hit. I hope people don't cancel us for this, but I got a lot of beatings growing up, and it shaped me to who I am, and instilled a lot of discipline in me.
Yeah.
And do you
I
think there's
deserved
any,
every one. I'll say this though, I deserved every single one I got.
at least you know that now reflecting on it.
Yeah.
Are there any values that you think you took from either one of your parents?
Absolutely. I think the grind and the hustle, having no excuses is definitely something that that came from my parents. It doesn't matter what's happening outside in the world, and it's very easy to play victim. But what are you really going to do about it yourself? And how are you going to take the realities of a situation, whether you like them or not, and not cry about them, but what are you going to do to actually find that silver lining to turn it into opportunity? And so in business today, things change really fast. And, we could talk a little bit like the COVID pandemic, 85% of my business was overnight shut down. And contracts that were mid-flight were shut down. Just CFOs just were like, we aren't doing anything, no way. Um, but being able to find the silver lining in a chaotic moment like that is what we did. And we were like, hey, wait a second. I'll give you an example. What we did in that situation is we were like, hey, our clients, we're not going to stop. This project is crucial. The reason you brought us in is crucial to your bottom line. So we're not going to stop working. You don't have to pay us. But just remember which partner was there for you and got this done for you because it's going to get you over the line. And, throughout that chaos, we worked off our own balance sheet and invested back into our clients. And people think I'm crazy. Why would I? Being a premium price, TribalScale is not cheap. We are premium
Yeah.
priced, and for us to go and reinvest back in our clients makes long-lasting relationships they'll never forget, and those are clients of mine for life. So you got to find the silver lining. Like the whole world could be burning down, but what are you going to do to sacrifice and make that happen? And it wasn't just sacrifice from our end. Like our employees understood the situation. We were very transparent about what was going on. Everybody took pay cuts and did whatever it take to ride out the storm together. That's why we're called Tribal Scale. We're a tribe. We stick
Okay.
together and we do this together.
That was one of my questions. I wanted to ask why tribal scale. So now you answered that
Yeah,
question.
Jam. I was I first I really like Seth Godin's book Tribes, and it really resonated with me. So that was one of the inspirations behind it. Seth Godin is an amazing marketer, and he was talking about how marketers actually have their own tribes. But being in software development over the past 25 years, I've realized that I am very stuck and have transformed my way into being regimented into a process of how we go build things and why we build them that way. And it's almost cultish. And it is really tribalism of how we go do things. We call it our tribal DNA. It runs in us on how we go do things. And so we know we have our people, process, and tools that are going to create success. And those are three things you can't undervalue. So if you look at a tribe, actually, if you just take a
Mm-hmm.
tribe, everybody in the tribe is super proficient and really good at what they do.
Yep.
They know their job and they do it really well. A tribe has a process. They all come together and they execute together. A tribe always takes after each other. It's always for the greater good of that tribe. And you take all these concepts together, so tribal became a word. And then scale is because that's what we do for our clients. We help them scale. We help
Mm-hmm.
them scale and hit their business goals, their business objectives. We help them scale their technology. We help them scale talent on their teams. Everything we do, every aspect, every conversation I have, scale is an underlying theme, and we put the two words together.
Mm-hmm. So, Sheetal, very young age, you got into technology, right? And
Yes.
any reason for you to any interest? What made you come to technology and focus on working on technology business?
Good question. I think my natural curiosity was always in technology. I started working at a very young age. I started working at 13 years old doing part-time jobs. And my parents let me keep a bank account. And that bank account when as I was getting older was like, hey, you could like, when you hit 16, you could do whatever you want with it. And so when I was 16, um, even in school, I was always interested in like going on the computers and figuring out what are these what are these machines? Let me play games on them, all sorts of stuff. But when I was 16, I uh, I went and I went and my dad was like, "Okay, you're 16. Like, here's some money in your account. What do you want to do with it?" And I went and I bought a computer and I bought a Corvette. And so I kind of like did the whole account away.
Where was this?
This
How,
was in Toronto. This was in Toronto. I bought an older Corvette. I bought a 76 Stingray, and it was
how
awesome
old are you
muscle
then?
car. I was 16. It was
Wow.
1996. Yeah. Uh, and so, yeah, I just got my license and I was driving a Corvette, which is very stupid because in Canada it snows so much and you can only drive the car like 3, 4 months out of the year. So really stupid of me to go do that. But the good investment I did was I bought a computer and it opened up a whole new world to me. And I was, always fascinated by even just like going on to America Online and back in the day and being able to go and research different things or going on Encarta, if you remember the encyclopedia on a
Yeah.
CD and just reading about different topics and stuff like that. It really opened a whole new world to me where I don't have to go to a library. My mom at a young age always took us to the library and I'd always go and read about anything. It could have been anything. It could have been the ancient Romans I would read about, or I was just always this guy who read and and would read because a natural curiosity came out of like what was happening in that particular time, and now I was able to do it in my own home. And so I got into tech, and then I didn't really realize where I'd fall into tech until I graduated from high school a little early. And I finished all my credits a little early. So I had a semester off before I went to university. And my father was like, "You're going to go work." And I ended up working at a technology company in Canada that was representing US computer companies in Canada. And one of the companies they were representing was US Robotics, and the Palm Pilot came out. And I was fascinated by it, and I was working in the logistics department. I wasn't doing any flashy tech jobs. I was packing, doing shipping, receiving, sending out new warranty, taking in old broken units. Like I was just doing stuff like that. And they also represented the modems and stuff like that. And I was fascinated working in this tech company. When I started there was only 30 of us, and within a year we were 100, and then within 2 years we were 300, and we just kept growing. And I would purposely finish all my shipping and receiving duties between 8 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. by like my morning break, which we used to have. And then I'd go bother everybody. What are you working on? What else could I work on? What are you working on? What else can I work on? And I started learning so many other aspects of the business and started doing that. And it really exposed me to what startup growth could be. It really exposed me to what this new internet revolution was at the time. And I was fascinated by it. And it didn't feel like work. I loved going to the office. I loved being in that environment. It didn't feel like work at all. They could have paid me zero. I still would have been there.
Yep.
And then was
Yeah.
that the time when the .com bubble happened?
Sure. So let me tell you about that. So the bubble burst. So this was in 97. I started working there. Um, in two, sorry, 98, I started working there. 97, 98, somewhere around there. Anyways, 2001, the bubble burst. And I see people and friends. All of a sudden, you think you're on top of the world, and all these people are around you. And we were a tribe in that company. Friends. We would hang out after work together. We'd be there all day, all night. We're young. We're young ones, youngins without any families, always hanging out with each other. It felt awesome. But when that bubble burst, I got laid off, and I felt like the rug got ripped from under me. I was completely devastated. I did invest in some other businesses at that time. I was a youngin who was starting a nightclub. I was a youngin who, with my mom, we opened a discount retail store, and I started doing these other things. And I just didn't. I felt so out of place when I was in any of those places. I felt home when I was in that tech world. And kudos to that management team. They brought me back. And they brought me back, and I came back, and I was working there again, and I could see the rebuild happening, and it was with a really heavy heart that I had to be let go again,
Oh, wow.
uh, and it devastated me again, and it was one of the lowest moments of my career, where when I got let go the second time. At the same time, I had an older cousin who I'm very close to, who was with me, I hung out with every day, pass away.
Mm.
And it was just a very dark moment in my time. I ended up dropping out of school. like out of university. It was a very, very dark moment in my time. And I share this because I don't want to project to any of your listeners that everything goes straight up. We all have our demons
Yeah.
and hell that we go through. And I didn't know what to do with my life. I remember I was laying down on my sofa at home. And my dad came to me and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was growing out a beard and I'm not going out. And like, here's the guy who's like, is investing in nightclubs and out and, and the store with his mom. And he's not even moving off the sofa. And he's like, just get up and even go work at the grocery store down the street and start pushing the buggies around. You're so smart. You're going to figure it out. Next thing you know, you'll be managing that store. Like you just got to get out of this house. You're in this downward spiral. And he kind of snapped me out of it, And my dad really recognized that I wasn't in the right spot there and I was very out of character for myself. Um, and so I went and I started talking to everybody I knew and was like, where should I go? And one of my brother-in-laws, my cousin's husband, was like, Sheetal, man, you got a knack for sales. And I was like, what are you talking about? I got a knack for sales. And he's like, you you got this aura to you for sales and like in your career, look at the stuff you do. Like people like gravitate towards you and listen to you and you got a way of storytelling. Like you should go do sales. And I parked it in the back of my head and was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be a sales guy. And I started going and talking to others, and there were some people at the tech company who were like, Sheetal, we wouldn't have like you are really got a knack for sales. And one of my mentors, when started telling him, hey, everyone's telling me I got this knack for sales. And he goes, you absolutely do. He goes, you walk me through my career. And he's like, look how much sales you've done. You don't even realize it. He's like, go to the copier industry. And if you could sell a box that prints paper better than another guy who has a box that prints paper, then you've mastered sales. And the thing about the copier industry is they'll give you the training. And so you'll know what you're doing well and you know what you're not doing.
Yeah.
And they'll give you a process on how to go do it. And you'll be in a bullpen of 40 to 50 other really high powered sales professionals who you'll be competitive with, but at the same time learn from. And
Absolutely.
so I started selling photocopiers door to door for Rico. And I started doing that. And very quickly, I landed right back in tech. I sold a copier to a company that was named Generation 5 Mathematical Technologies, Inc., the most geekiest name ever. But what they did was they were AI pioneers. And we used to build custom segmentation systems and do predictive analytics, even before it was predictive analytics. What everybody calls AI today is what we were doing way back then. And I started working there. And the rest became history. Like my career from there, I never updated my resume ever since then. Like after that, my career was always somebody knew me and was like convincing me to come and join their organization until I finally went and started TribalScale.
Yeah. So how did you manage to start your own thing? When did you decided, or what inspired you to get into your own?
So I've been an entrepreneur or even an intrapreneur, I like to say, in
Yeah.
every organization I worked with. And what I mean by intrapreneur is when I worked at Rico, I was like, hey, these guys gave me a business card. They gave me a process on how to go sell. And I'm literally Sheetal Inc. and I could go sell as much as I want to go do and make my own destiny here. They gave me the resources, so I'm still working for myself. So that was
Mm-hmm.
one mindset I always had. I was like, hey, these guys have given me the resources. This company's given me the resources for me to go do whatever I need to go do. And I did really well there. Like we got crushed it there, man. I was like, it was so fun being in a bullpen with all those guys and girls who just like high powered sales and figuring out. I felt like the movie Boiler Room, if you've ever watched that with Vin Diesel. It really related to the way we were there. Um, but to go back to what you were saying, Jan, it's like I didn't have to do my resume again. And I always had side hustles and investments I was always doing in the entrepreneur journey. So like I sit on a cap table of over 50 companies right now. And so I've always been reinvesting. If I had extra dollars, it's reinvested in private companies, which is crazy, right? Like, I should have just bought the S&P and just let that go and dollar cost average all the way. But that wasn't the fun in it for me. But what happened was I worked for a company called Extreme Labs, and I should mention their names. There's four gentlemen there: Sunny, Amar, Rahul, and Farhan. And these four guys started building mobile apps before the iPhone came out and before Android came out. And I was just in Dubai with Sunny last night, and Sunny came to my house and told my wife and I that it's time I quit my job and take half the salary I'm making to go work with him at Extreme Labs, and start selling mobile software. Which he's smart. He's a good salesman too, because he knew he had to go through my wife to get that approval. Like, who's going to give up half their salary? However, I'm young in my career, and the best decision I ever made in my goddamn life. Like, the money doesn't matter. The experience of working with a very high-powered team and learning is what set me up. The things I learned working with the Extreme Labs team, and then we got acquired in 2013 by Pivotal, and then watching Pivotal be acquired by EMC, and EMC being acquired by Dell, and me going through that journey made me realize a couple things. One is I'm unhireable. I'm a startup guy. You put me in a big organization and a machine, and if I'm not making an impact, I'm miserable. So I can't do that.
Mhm.
I'm not the guy who's going to clock in at 9 and leave at 5. I'm just way too passionate of a person to be able to do that. Two is I learned the business so well. Three is I already created a big personal brand where I was known as the mobile media guy. Four is I had the network and the people around me who wanted to support me to say, hey, if I started off on my own, there's a whole book of business that Pivotal is not working on anymore that is left alone, and there's an opportunity for me to go capture that. And so I uh, I ended up resigning. I left. We were about to IPO, I should say. I left again. Once again, if you take a look at my career, the best decisions come when I leave a lot of money on the table. I walked away from a huge, back into the millions would have made me in millions. Would have set my wife and I up very comfortably. But I walked away from it and remortgaged my house and started my own company, and brought some really five other really sharp, smart people with me who did the same, and we started TribalScale and started the journey from there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just a perfect example of the founder's journey, just ups and downs. But then, yeah, you've got to where you are today because of that. I want to
And there's
take,
and there's something to be said about that too. If if I tried to build TribalScale while still being at Pivotal and doing a side hustle and making the right liftoff point, that wouldn't have happened. It took me taking another mortgage on my house, knowing that my wife and I won't have a roof over our head, and quitting my day job to take the company where it went. And if you take a look at, like I can openly talk about this, take a look at TribalScale. Our first year in business, we did 6 million. Our second year in business, we did 16. Our third year in business, we did 29. And then it all imploded and fell on my face, and I almost went bankrupt. But those first 3 years, we went poof out the gate because we were all vested in, and there was no other option. You don't, when they say burn the boats, you literally got to burn the boats. So you
Yep.
ain't going back. You got to figure it out. You're here now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to go back to a point you mentioned earlier about, being in your 20s and being a little bit lost. What advice do you have for someone in their 20s, like me, who is kind of early in their journey, but has a lot, like for me, there's a lot of opportunities on the radar and it's kind of almost overwhelming. I don't know which direction to go.
I love what you just said, that you got a lot of opportunities and you don't know which way to go. I was in a different mindset. And I think technology could really help with this. We have podcasts now like this one. We have TED Talks. We have, Twitter, blogs, all these things now that kind of show you a way. But like when you're looking at myself in 2002, 2003, you start looking around And especially for a guy, I mean, I still think there's a sense for a guy to be like, I don't have a purpose. What am I going to do? I'm lost. And it's a very, very scary feeling, right? You're like, I'm looking around at people around me. They've already all figured it out. The truth is nobody figured it out. Everybody pretends like they figured it out. And, and it gets scary really quick of being like, what am I going to go do? Um, but I really think, Dylan, if you go and have the right conversations with the right people you respect who know you, and just be open and honest with them, they'll start guiding you, and you will hear that sound in your, that sound in your head, but more importantly, that fire inside you of which path it seems like you're going to be excited about. Which path are you going to like want to wake up every morning and go do? And it sounds so easy with me saying it, but then you just go choose one and go for it and give it all you got. And you'll fail 100 times, and that is a good thing. Especially as a young person, go fail a lot, fall on your face, go F up as much as possible, because those scars will make you so much stronger later. You got your whole life in front of you. So go experiment with things, go try things, go F up, and you'll learn. Like selling copier door to door, I got told to F off a million times a day. I had to just suck it up and go to the next door because I knew it could change, the whole day could change on the next one, right? Like that small lesson learned from that job. Um, you know, I used to pack trucks as a kid, and I used to pack gumballs, box in a box, that were like 80 pounds, and I'd have to hand bomb it and put it on a truck. I used to be ripped doing this, by the way, all day. It was a great workout. But doing that, it taught me almost systems thinking. How could I do this without exerting so much energy? Like, what am I going to go do? In every single one of these hardships and experiences you're in, again, I go back to what I was saying earlier, there's a silver lining. What are you learning from it that's going to make you stronger tomorrow? Don't forget those lessons. Those hard lessons are super important.
And you speak about failure there. And in my little bit of pre-reading about you, I saw a lot of the word like fail fast. It seems like something that you promote a lot across your organizations.
Here's my iPad. Jim, you'll love it. I've got our
Oh,
HBS
nice.
stuff. And then there's my sticker that says fail fast. Um, Absolutely. Yeah, the biggest problem with enterprises today is if they're afraid to fail, and their employees and their culture is afraid of failure. In TribalScale, every morning at stand up, we all get together as a company. We talk about what's in the news. We give kudos. Who did something exceptional? Let's give them credit for it. And we talk about fail fast. Who effed up yesterday? How did you F up? And why? And we all go learn from each other, because it's important to color outside of the lines. It's important to push the boundaries. You can't be an innovation firm if you're not ready to go fail. You don't know the
Mm,
formula. You're being innovative. So
mm,
you gotta go and push the boundaries. And let's, out of a collective group, go learn from each other's experiences. So you have to fail, but fail fast.
mm,
Failing slow is when you try for perfection and you take so long, and then at the end you find out the experiment didn't work. And that's
mm,
failing slow. You just wasted a lot of time, capital, disgruntled team, bad culture, all this stuff happens. But if you can embrace failure and you call it a learning lesson and you fail fast, very quickly you're going to be on
mm.
the right path. And
Uh,
again, there's no journey that goes straight, right? So it's going to be,
mm,
yes, we're doing good. No, we're not. Yeah, and we'll go like this all the way, but we're failing fast. And so we'll just hit this over here.
Mm. I guess, Sheetal, it's more of a mindset change as well, right? So I don't know, you remember very first time or maybe young age, someone say no to you, it hurts, right? But
Yeah.
it's different now, right?
You know, look, I think certain times, certain times it does hurt. It still hurts. Someone says no to me. I am the five question why.
Yeah.
I want to learn from the experience. I want to learn why is it a no? Especially if my expectation was a yes, right? It's like why, and I just, and it's okay to be transparent. I just want to learn from this. So next time I don't hear the no, I know what I need to do. I know the hard things I have to do so that I can be ready for the next time and the next opportunity. But hearing no is. is definitely a fail fast moment. If you hear a no and your expectations yes, then you should find out you should know where you failed and what you need to do.
And you mentioned there as well, culture. I know, like, obviously for building an organization, especially as it scales, culture is such an important piece. What are the core things that you're trying to build within your culture?
Look, there's so many lessons on culture. I think when it sounds a little controversial, I don't really care. I got the scars that prove it. When we grew from 0 to 375 people, 7 different countries, we grew too big too fast. Culture and excellence starts to fail because you're growing so fast. And if your management doesn't get on the same page with you, your management may not even know what page to go on. And I'm a firm believer that the less layers you have between yourself and your employees, the better. The more flatter the organization, the better. People better hear it from my mouth and not have broken telephone all the way down. And I think that really, the CEO and the leader really sets the tone for culture. And you could see this in sports, right? Like you could see this right away. If you take a look at Bill Parcells from the Patriots, Bill Walsh from the 49ers, Phil Jackson in the NBA, like all these guys had a culture of excellence and it came straight from them. They had unfiltered way of communicating with every single person. I'm reading Bill Walsh's book right now. The Score Figures Out Itself. And Bill Walsh, down to the receptionist who answers the phone for the San Francisco 49ers, answered the phone a specific way because the professionalism of every person in the organization matters. The bar is here, and it's unacceptable for you to give that much effort. You have to be here. And you got to set that tone. And if it starts getting watered down with middle management and stuff like that, it starts breaking your culture. And if your culture starts breaking, your clients are going to start feeling that. And nobody likes to blame themselves. Everybody points the finger at one person, and that is a founder. And I fall on the sword for that. When my culture started breaking, I fall on the sword for that. It's because I allowed it to happen. I need to, all these business books say, hire great people, trust them, they'll do great things, leave them alone. Throw that advice in the garbage. You're the founder, you know what's right. Hire great people, let them do great things, hold them accountable to those great things, but never compromise on your excellence and your work ethic for anyone. If they're not giving you what's expected of them, call it out right away.
Is that one reason that you're keeping your team very small and tight?
And, well, I think it's also a talent thing. To work with us, I can't just onboard 50 people overnight. And you have to learn how to do it our way. You have to get injected with the tribal DNA. And so I have to really pick and choose my battles as to where I go. And I'm very cognizant of not growing too big too fast because excellence matters. And we have a brand promise that we go deliver to clients, and we have to maintain that level of excellence.
So the tech industry that you are in is very dynamic. It's changing like unbelievable, right? So how do you stay ahead in this industry?
A lot of collaboration, for sure. Don't be afraid, especially for services companies. They think, why would I go spend on R&D? We charge a fee for service. That's the wrong type of thinking. You have to create that culture for fail fast. New technology is out. Let's go play with it. What can we build? What are pros, cons? Teach everybody else. We're doing a lunch and learn,
Yeah.
right? Like have these hacker type mentalities where people can feel free and have budget and time to go experiment and do these things because we are always ahead of the curve. We have a very popular blog on our site that, we're publishing 2, 3 papers a week on the stuff we're doing and what we're seeing in the market. And it's because we are the thought leaders. We are the ones who are so far of everybody's just, oh, well, where should I start in AI? Well, we've already implemented like 10 projects in AI over the past 5 years, you know, um, that have been super successful. We've created 3 AI companies in the past 5 years. Like we get this stuff because we experiment and we try these things. And so going back to our clients, our job is to hold their hands and take them on the journey and say it's not scary. You know what? Watch out over here because you're gonna get in an accident. If you make a right turn here, it's doomsday. Here's what happened to us when we tried it. We're gonna go left. Here's why. And so like we end up taking our clients on a journey because we invest that time into R&D, that time into culture, that time into training and showing everybody in the organization what that bar of excellence really
Mm,
means.
mm. Sheetal,
It
I
kind
want
of it just Jam it. It's the bugs case.
to, yeah, yeah,
It's definitely the bugs case. We did a case where
yeah, yeah.
everybody is in the pest control business, and there was a gentleman who was in the pest extermination
The
business.
brand promise and
The
deliver
brand
everything.
promise, and you got to work with Mr. Bug and know how to do it the right way. Doesn't matter if you've been doing it 20 years a different way. You got to learn Bug's way because his way matters. Very
Excellent.
similar.
Excellent. Hey, Sheetal, I want to go back to fail fast theory that you're talking about. It's quite interesting. So when you say fail fast, when you start a business venture, and then when do you kind of draw the line? Okay, I need to stop this, because yeah, I mean you can easily, because obviously you start something because you feel there's opportunity, right? And then
Sure.
you start going, and it's not happening. But where do you draw the line?
Look, I think it's a very tough one because being an entrepreneur, when you see the light at the end of the tunnel, you're like, this is genius. Well, look, we
Yeah,
have to, this has to work. If I have unlimited capital, I'm going to put unlimited capital and do this for the rest of my life. The world needs this. And it's great to have that conviction, and you have to have that conviction in doing it. Um, However, there has to be a sobering moment. And for us, it is, I will only fund things up to a certain amount and a certain runway. If we can't get outside capital to come in and formulate the company in a seed round, let's say, then I haven't spoken, the market has spoken. And so, you know, it's happened. It's happened to us. We had a couple of ventures that when push comes to shove, the market wasn't acceptable to them. And you have to learn to cut your losses and say, look, this didn't work, but we're going to live to fight another day. And it's nothing. Do you know what, team? You are actually even more investable now because you've gone through this experience and you have all this experience. And I want to invest in you even more now because the next thing you do, you're going to do it way better. And so, again, those scars that you get going through, wear them as a badge of honor. It's okay. You effed up. Maybe it's not even you. Maybe the market conditions are right. Maybe you're too early. Generation five mathematical technologies. Oh, we should have just called it AI. I would have been a billionaire. Um, was way too early for its
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Like sometimes you're just too early. It's you take those lessons and you move on, and
yeah,
that's the only way. But for us, if we can't raise outside capital for our ventures, then something's wrong. And if other smart money doesn't want to be behind us, then that's okay. I'll tell you for Scriber though. For Scriber, our medical AI assistant that we just launched, we just did a friends and family round. Um, we went out to only go do 500K with friends and family. We are so oversubscribed. I have 1.2 million of interest
wow,
trying to get it.
congratulations.
So there's the opposite effect too. When you know you're
Yeah.
hitting the market and you're just crushing all your metrics really right. Yeah, so I could say that to you guys because the round is closing, and I'm so confident that it's going to close with a big smile, and we'll have some PR around it. But yeah, so I could shoot you guys are the first to know that that's happening.
Oh,
Well
awesome.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah, wow.
congratulations. I want to take a very big left turn, but how important is empathy?
Oh my God, I got blogs on this. You can't be a salesperson or a business person if you don't have empathy. You have to have. I don't do a business deal if I wasn't on the other end of the table signing the documents. So like, I would never say, "Here's a solution," and be like, "This guy's a sucker." No, I got to have complete empathy because I know my solution is the best solution for that person. And I did that because I was empathetic throughout the whole process. I understood the pain points of my customer. I know what solution is going to help them. I know the pros and cons. I know the various outside factors that are going to make this project or this person even successful or not successful. And then I'm going to go and work with them on designing a solution together because I'm empathetic towards it. And this goes down to everything, even like a cold call. You know, if you cold call somebody, if I cold call somebody, I'm calling them not without doing my homework. I will never just read a stupid script. I will be like, hey, Jam, it's super important that I talk to you. I saw you are really interested in A, B, C, D. Here is what I'm doing in A, B, C, D. I know this is not a good time for you. However, give me half an hour. I promise you it's going to be mutually beneficial. You're going to learn something from me. I'm going to learn something from you.
Mm,
That's it.
mm, mm.
Saying, but knowing the hard work is knowing what I just gave you guys a script. The hard work is actually doing the homework on what A, B, C, D is,
Yeah.
right? And that's the hard part. Like Jam would never say no to a meeting like that. He'd be like, absolutely. Okay, let me learn something from you. I'll make some time for you. You did your homework and you sound knowledgeable in this area. So yeah, I'm excited to learn something from you
Provide value up front.
right away. And again, and it's burned me many times, but I'm also a handshake deal guy. My legal department's going to hate me saying this, but I'm very much so a handshake deal guy. I'm a people person, and I want to look people in the eye, and I want to shake their hands and commit to what I'm doing and follow through. And so I love adding value first and figuring out monetization after.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. If I take care of you and I'm doing right by you, you will take care of me and the monetization aspect after. And if you don't, then I failed fast in my relationship with you. I had you wrong.
Mm,
Cut my losses and move on. You're in it for yourself. You're not in this for a long term, and that's
mm,
okay. Just I won't be the guy with you anymore.
mm. So, Sheetal, this is a really good conversation because we are talking about empathy to a tech guy, right? And how do you say? I mean, technology is evolving. Technology. I mean, even now, when we talk to, if you want to get help, we talk with technology, right? We don't talk to a real human. So, how do you see this as the technology grow? This intersection between human and technology is going to evolve. Having that human connection with technology.
Well, I'll tell you, the empathy goes to the user. So here's an example. I was on a flight and it was leaving from Miami on American Airlines, and a storm hit Washington D.C. and the flight got canceled. And while everybody else was scrambling to go wait in line, I was like, let me see if there's anything in the app that can be done. Right at that moment, American Airlines will win your heart over from empathy. This is an unforeseen circumstance. What can I do for you? I went in the app, and with like 3 or 4 clicks, I was rebooked on another flight, and I knew it would be tomorrow morning. And so I avoided the whole thing. I jumped in a cab and went back home. My problem solved. I don't have to wait in line. I don't have to do this. Technology became very empathetic to my situation in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have to do it the right way. There is always going to be a part for human empathy, but if you can make technology in a way that becomes empathetic and solves your issues at that moment, it really works. You know, I know we're getting to a stage where almost you don't want to even talk to humans. Like,
Mm.
oh, I gotta wait on hold for 45 minutes. Isn't there a chatbot I can just talk to and solve this
Yeah.
problem? We're all getting trained that way, right?
Mm.
Because we just want to get our one issue solved and move on. You know, Uber. The driver's taking too long. He's not showing up. You cancel your ride. It charges you $5 or whatever it charges you for a canceled ride. What do? You click on help. Driver took too long. $5 refunded him automatically. Problem solved. Right. So there's the right moments for technology to really enhance and bring that customer experience. And now with AI, like we should be able to predict what your problem is and solve it right away. We should come to you even before the problem is happening
Yeah.
because we know the problem's coming.
Yeah. Can you even predict how do you feel?
Yeah. I mean, total like sentiment analysis in call centers now is a big thing, right? And it's so cool. You should like. There's so many cool AIs now that are learning from the best. So we're able to see the sentiment analysis of a call center representative and the customer experience, the person who's doing it right by the book. is keeping their consumers who are calling them happy. AI is starting to learn from that now, and now you might get a voice AI that is going to be able to do it better than a human. So that's empathy still, because I'm making
Yeah,
keeping you happy.
yeah, yeah,
I'm getting your problem solved. And the human's going to work, and the AI is going to work 24/7 a day, 7 days a week, and I can have 1,000 of them.
yep.
Yeah. And I want to go back to what you mentioned at the beginning about success being health, family, and peace. We've talked a lot about work. How do you prioritize time for those things?
It's more recent in my journey, and maybe I can't think everybody gets older. I just turned 45. Um,
Still
and
young.
so, well, but you start to feel it. Um, but just more recently, I've been like, hey, I got to start focusing more on my health. It's working 18 hours a day is not an excuse for not taking care of yourself. If there's no me, then what happens? So you got to start taking care of your health and figuring that piece out. And so, um, more recently, I've started to do that. Family, what do we do this for? We do this for the loved ones. Their family could be friends. It could be your chosen family or the one you're given. But like, what do we do this for? It's to see those smiles on their faces and spend those moments with them, which bring you the utmost happiness. And then peace and spirituality is how do you keep your mind calm? Being an entrepreneur is going to a war every day. It's like being in a car accident after car accident 3 times in a day, and then coming home and telling your brain shut off, you need to sleep, which is very hard to do. So how are you going to be spiritual and peaceful and keep that harmonization all around you? Is something you got to be more cognizant of. I used to put myself in situations because I thought I had to, like, let me be in a certain spot, and I'm not really enjoying myself, and I really don't know why I'm here, but I'm doing it because the others want me here.
Hmm.
I've started to do less of that, and you'd be surprised when others don't even care. You're just like, you know what, guys? It's 11, and I know you guys want to go till 2 in the morning today, but I'm gonna call it quits. I'm gonna go sleep because it's just what I feel like doing right now. I don't feel like sitting here. And a lot of times we give into these social norms and stuff that don't follow those 3 things. And and this is very recent for me, just last couple months where I've started to pay more attention to those 3.
And is
Hmm.
there anything in particular that you're doing for like the peace side of things? Because as you said, there's so much going on, especially even just in the world around us. Like it's nice to have some mental peace every now and then.
You know, um, I try, and I don't think I'm doing it right, but I've recently tried to like start meditating. It's not, and for me, meditating is just lying down and like get all technology away from you. And my brain starts rushing, and I'm starting to remember things I need to do for work. And I want to grab my phone and say, I won't even say the Apple person's name. Set a reminder for blah blah blah, because I do that all day. You'll see me if you're around me. You'll see me saying that S name. Set a reminder for, and so I want to do that, but I'm like, forget it. And I just sit there and let my mind race and just try to. 2 things happen. One is I let my mind race until it stops, and all of a sudden I hit peace, or I fall asleep. Both are good. I'll take either or. So I started to do that. I also, I got cues that make me go, well, I love music. And so I got a playlist on my Spotify that's called Feel Good Tracks. Anytime I want to be in a good mood, shuffle that playlist, puts me in an instant good mood. So I start
Yeah.
doing these like small little things that aren't rocket science, that are going to help me put me the right way. And you know, um, I start to read a little bit more, and I start reading a little bit more Hindu scriptures and stuff like that. Stuff that my mom was teaching me my dad was teaching me, my grandparents when I was a kid, and I start doing that again. And maybe it comes with age. When I was a kid, I was like, I don't want to do any of this, and now I wish I paid more attention back then because now I want to relearn it all.
It's part of the
Yeah.
human condition. I think everyone goes through that journey.
Yeah. Sheetal, I was thinking, why didn't you start that nightclub that you were initially thinking of?
We did.
Oh, you did. Wow.
We did. We started it. I was part of the original team that put it together, and then I very quickly wasn't aligning with what I wanted to do, so I got out. However, if you fast forward to today, I'm still an investor in hospitality. We have, thank God, we have a very, very cool a restaurant called, I'll plug it. It's called Silent H in Toronto.
All right.
And so it's right in the heart of the entertainment district. It serves high-end Mexican food upstairs, has a really cool speakeasy nightclub downstairs. I'm an investor in another one in Soho in New York City that's called Kechi Shubi. Also, awesome restaurant upstairs, cool lounge. With awesome deep house music downstairs. So I'm still involved in it, man. But from
Oh,
afar, I'm not the operator. I'm an investor, and I love going there and like going to these places and being involved with these operators and helping these operators grow their business. But I'm not in the day to day.
yeah. Because I don't know why. Maybe that's not the right way to say, but I always see you more entertainment guy than the IT guy. You
It's
have that charisma. You have that fun nature. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Why not invest in stuff you like doing? Somebody asked
Absolutely.
me, why would you do this business? These businesses are so hard. Like profit margins are
Yeah.
slim, right? Like they're so hard. Why would you do these businesses? And I'm like, why did you buy a Ferrari and three motorcycles?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I did
That's the same. Yeah.
that. I enjoy going there and doing that. You enjoy your cars. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So, Sheetal, if you go back in time to young Sheetal, uh, do you give any advice, or you ask that young Sheetal to do something differently to what you done?
Oh my God. I don't like to live in regret. So I'll say that. Again, I'll wear those scars, all those flips I've done proudly because it made me who
Yep.
I am. I don't like to live in regret. What I would like to say to myself is almost that it was okay to make mistakes, and it was not to be hard on myself as much as I was. I let myself get down when failure happened, as opposed to embracing it like I do now. And that would be a big piece of advice to my younger self. Is like, go try bigger things next time. That's what I would have told myself earlier. Stop taking those small little experiments and then judging yourself so harshly based on some stupid, irrelevant failure that I don't even remember now because it didn't matter. Um, go take bigger, go F up even bigger and learn from those mistakes at an earlier age. That's one thing I definitely would take. And the second thing I'll say is that the voice inside me has always been right, and I'm stupid not to listen to it. Um, it's always been right. Even when our company was like growing like gangbusters, guys, in that third year, I felt it inside me. It's not right. Things are going the wrong way. I felt it, and I was just like, around me, looks like it's going so well. So you kind of like just have to go with the flow. But that voice inside me was telling me, there's a problem here. You got to go solve it. And so it's really important to listen to that voice,
Mm-hmm.
and that those are key things I think we don't do enough. Your intuition is probably right most of the time.
One question that I have: how do you want to be remembered?
Oh God, I don't know. I haven't given that one much thought. Jan, you threw me a curveball. Um, I just want to be remembered for someone who wanted to always be there for everyone and be helpful. Someone who truly cared about the people around me and put the effort in
Mm-hmm.
to show them that and show people around me that I actually care for them and they're special to me. And that's it.
Yep.
I think whether that be people who work with me at TribalScale, I hope I
Mm-hmm.
make a lasting impression on their careers and their families and put them on a path to success. To friends who, just checking in on them and being like, hey, I can be a shoulder to cry on. It's not only about the good times when we're in the pub, cheers at each other. We could be here to support each other. I just want to be that truthful guy who's been truthful
Mm-hmm.
along his journey and there to support everyone around him.
Mm-hmm.
And Sheetal, what's next for you?
Oh God. I think I think there's a couple things. I think I'm super excited on going on this journey with Scriber right now, and having Scriber take off. It's I've all my years of creating startups and working with startups, I've never seen growth like this. So there is a lightning bolt that this company has captured, and to harness that energy and watch it blossom. I am super excited about the work we're doing at TribalScale and how we lead this AI revolution for our clients. Those things are super exciting for me. Um, and most of all, I think I'm super excited to just be able to take the time off when I need to take the time off and spend it with my family.
Yeah.
Like that's it things that I think weren't the things that excite me are the things that excite me now, right? Like those are the things I want to go to.
And looking back on your journey and the definition of success that you had being health, family, and peace, and kind of prioritizing those, do you feel successful?
I don't. That's crazy. I don't at all.
Yeah.
Um, I think ambition is. I don't like it. Does sorry. Does anybody answer yes? Like I don't know. Like if the successful thing, if I want to do those three things, I'm still on a journey to go do them. So
Mhm.
I'll always be on a journey to go do them. I don't know if I'll ever achieve a success. I think when you say success, you've hit a completion point. I don't think I'm anywhere near
It's a
that.
journey, right? Yeah.
It's still a journey. I'm still on the journey. So success will happen, when it's time to cremate me.
Well, Sheetal, this has been incredibly insightful conversation, and there's so much more we could speak about, but I want to wrap up there. And throughout our discussion, I've been jotting down a few key traits which I think you display and have been kind of critical to what I would say is quite a successful life. And I want to share them with you. The first one is positivity. I don't think you've stopped smiling this entire conversation. And I think even throughout the tough periods that you've had, you've still managed to maintain some sort of positive outlook. As you said, there's always a silver lining in everything. And I think that's been really important to you bouncing back and getting back on the horse and finding the next opportunity. The next one is, I don't know if this is the right word, but almost responsibility. You feel a responsibility to do right by others, whether that's your customers and empathizing with them to make sure you're delivering a product that meets their needs, or whether it's your own internal team or family, making sure that you go in, put in 100% so that you know that you're looking after them. You wear that kind of weight on your shoulders. The next one is the love of learning. Man, like we mentioned it so many times, whether it was from, your computers and going to the library in the early days or learning from people in the industry as you kind of progressed. I think that constant love of learning, even, going to Harvard, that's another thing you did to kind of develop your knowledge and skill set. And I think that
Yeah, it's
all
funny.
of,
I hashtag a lot on X, Twitter. Always be learning.
yeah,
You're hitting that bang on.
yeah. I mean, it's something we're seeing across a lot of our conversations. And then the next one is you put good things into the world and then it's been returned to you. Like you go in with no expectations. Whether it's you deliver great products, even though your customers can't pay you, you go and fulfill what needs to be done. You just do good things and then don't really think about what's in it for you. And I think that's something unique that we haven't kind of really heard from so far. And I think it's potentially one of the big things that has led to your personal success is you go out and do the things for the right reason. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, I mean that's
That's
the
you summarize, Dylan. I'm super impressed. You summarize me better than I know myself, man. But I can't disagree with anything you said. Like that is the fabric of Sheetal Jaitly. That's
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Which is the stuff you just said. That is me.
So Sheetal, add to that list, someone I know for last 2 years, had the privilege to know you for last 2 years. Your energy, again, it's aligned with the positivity. and the energy is so infectious. You connect with people genuinely. You have that genuine connection. No wonder you are a gun super sales guy, because you're going there not just to give something. You need to understand other person, understand what value that you can create for other person. That is genuine. Like knowing you, that's definitely a part of your success. That's one of the key ingredient for your success.
So Sheetal, thank you so much. Sheetal, thank you so much for this conversation. It's been
No, it's been
incredible.
awesome talking to you guys. You guys, I will give you guys a big kudos, as I said in TribalScale lingo. I'll give you guys a big kudos. You have an amazing way of getting stories out of me and just and sharing my story. I really enjoyed talking to you guys today.
No, thank you so much, Sheetal, giving us time. I know you're very busy. You're doing some business in Dubai. Thanks for giving us time.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And if you guys have taken something out of today's conversation, it would be incredible if you could go and follow us or subscribe to us on whichever platform you're listening to this on right now. We're actually trying to grow our YouTube channel, so head over to YouTube and subscribe to us there. And with that, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.